we need to quickly go to the Accra International Conference Center where the ECOWAS meeting on the common currency is ongoing. Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta is speaking at the moment. We'll be back with some more stories.
Representing His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The meeting was honored by the presence of His Excellency Fua Nasingbe, President of the Togolese Republic and incumbent chairman of the Conference of Heads of State and Government of ECOWAS, and also Governor of the Central Bank of Guinea, Mr. Lonseni Nabi, representing the President of the Republic of Guinea, His Excellency President Alpha Condé, President of the Republic of Guinea. Also in attendance were the ministers in charge of finance of Côte d'Ivoire, Ghana, and Niger, the presidents of the ECOWAS Commission and UEMOA Commission, the governors of the central banks of ECOWAS countries, special representatives of the heads of state of Côte d'Ivoire, Ghana, Niger, and Nigeria on the Ministerial Committee, the Director General of the West African Monetary Agency, the Director General of the West African Monetary Institute, and the Director of the Economic Commission for Africa, Sub-Regional Office for West Africa as an observer. The Presidential Task Force adopted the report of the Ministerial Committee of Ministers and Governors meeting held on 19 February 2018 in Accra. The purpose of the Ministerial Committee meeting was to propose a revised roadmap for the single currency program to begin by the 2020 deadline. They acknowledged the quality of the conclusion as well as the relevance of the recommendations made by the Ministerial Committee. After deliberating on the agenda items, the Presidential Task Force A, reaffirmed their political will to meet the ECOWAS single currency program deadline by 2020. B, reaffirmed member states' commitment to ratify and implement all relevant ECOWAS protocols and conventions. C, reaffirmed the gradual approach where countries which meet the convergence criteria can start the monetary union while the other countries can join later. D, welcomed the progress made by the member states and encouraged them to continue their efforts towards meeting the convergence criteria and strengthening the multilateral surveillance mechanism. E, adopted the revised roadmap for accelerating the creation of the ECOWAS single currency by 2020. F, instructed all the stakeholders to implement the revised roadmap. G, reaffirmed their commitment to fund the ECOWAS single currency program by member states and their central banks. H, invites the Committee of Governors and Convergence Council to hold quarterly meetings on the progress of implementation of planned activities and to regularly report to their biannual sections. 6, the heads of state members of the task force expressed their concern over the situation in the Democratic Republic of Congo. They called on the African Union to put in place a mechanism to move towards a peaceful solution. After deliberations, the members of the Presidential Task Force expressed their profound gratitude to His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the President of the Republic of Ghana, and the government and people of Ghana for their warm welcome and excellent arrangements made for the success of the 5th meeting of the task force. The members of the Presidential Task Force have agreed to hold their next meeting in Niamey, Republic of Niger, in May 2018, done in Accra on the 21st day of February 2018. Thank you very much. No question. Thank you very much.
The Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, there briefing everyone else on what the meeting has been. And it, of course, is the meeting of ECOWAS on the common currency. More of that coming up subsequently. But for now, government says it is on course to meet the criterion set by ECOWAS to pave way for the introduction of a common currency. Member states are expected to ensure a stable exchange rate, single-digit inflation rate, among others. The sub-regional body has been forced to postpone the implementation date many times since the year 2000, with the 2020 year set as a new target.
At the Niamey meeting, that the target date for the introduction of the ECOWAS single currency remains 2020, some 2 years away. The task force also requested that the roadmap for the ECOWAS single currency be reviewed to ensure that the processes for the creation of the single currency are accelerated. I'm informed that under the auspices of the Ministerial Committee, this assignment has been successfully carried out. I urge Your Excellencies to examine the conclusions and recommendations of the Ministerial meeting and emphasize the need to put in place measures to implement the revised roadmap to achieve the objective of starting the single currency program in 2020. It is for this reason that I entreat Your Excellencies of the Task Force and the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government to give presidential assent to the implementation of the revised roadmap that will be adopted at our meeting. We need to ensure that the ECOWAS Commission is provided with the needed resources through the setup of the special fund for financing the activities of the revised roadmap. I call also on governments of our member states to take all measures to ensure that the macroeconomic convergence criteria, a prerequisite for the introduction of the single currency, is consistently met. This will invariably require marrying the convergence targets with our national macroeconomic targets. It is my hope that as we shape the future of ECOWAS, we are positioning West African enterprises to compete effectively in the global space. There are many amongst us who cannot accept that it is only Asians who can engineer their transition from poverty to prosperity in a generation. We should be determined to emulate that in our generation in West Africa and ensure that succeeding generations will be neither victims nor pawns of the world order. We have a historic opportunity to create a new reality for the peoples of ECOWAS, a reality of general prosperity and progress.
President Akufo-Addo there, hopefully the continent or the sub-region will have a common currency. Sounds exciting.